Hey, hey, happy Monday. And I'm back.
You are back. I missed you. Welcome back.
How can you not? You had some good shows last week, though.
Yeah, but no one wanted to say go FUD yourself, except for Michael from Wildcard. He did say go FUD yourself to me, but Ron Hammond from the Blockchain Association felt that was inappropriate. So
I believe that he might not want to say that, but Chair probably said it.
Yeah, I guess so. It just felt empty, JD. But you're back.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Here to fill the world with my excitement and energy. But yes, we are back. It was great. Had a good time with the kids and so on, but back at it. And this weekend was full of excitement.
Ding dong dang, was it ever?
There's some stuff we're not talking about today, but I'm sure we'll talk about tomorrow. And that is bills coming out of committees for markups. That's happening. Yes. I believe the first one, the McHenry bill, or multiple bills are coming out of at 10 a.m. tomorrow.
That's right.
Coming out of committee actually, for markups.
For the record, Ron Hammond said he could come on next week if we wanted to ask many questions about them. So
amazing. Yeah. So there's Blockchain Association calls tomorrow, and we have an opportunity to give comments. The other thing that is kind of interesting, people might have an interest in is, I suppose, is what other bills they this gets attached to. Because it's not going to, generally it's not going to be like, a single standalone crypto bill. It's almost always put in an omnibus bill somewhere. So it'll be interesting to see what this goes with, because whatever they attach this to also plays a huge part in whether it gets bipartisan support or not. Anyways, we'll talk more about it tomorrow. I'm going to attend.
We're also not going to talk about Twitter failing to rebrand as like a straight edge, like raver.
I think they totally crushed it. X, like that's going to be, mark these words, 5 years from now, it's going to be as common as Google something. Yeah, I'll Google it.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just saying that their logo leaves something to be desired.
Oh, the logo, yeah.
And also, I like to make fun of it for my own personal joy, not because I actually dislike it that much.
To his defense, he did say this was a temporary logo, and he's going to crowdsource it, I think.
Oh, maybe he had that one made by AI.
Who knows? I don't know.
All right, what we already talked about is that there were 2 hacks over kind of the weekend, Friday through Sunday. We won't spend too much time on them, but we'll just make sure that you know. And then we all talk about a couple weird things going on in the States, like crypto mining in Arkansas and CBDC crypto architect coming out of San Francisco. And then we're going to talk about how Bitcoin isn't really being used for illegal activity anymore, but other currencies are being used by ISIS. And then if we have time, we'll talk about the ongoing debacle of SEC, Ripple, and what this.
Which is funny, because if you ask Trump, there is no ISIS anymore. He ended ISIS. Right. But we will chat about it later. Let's fucking go. All right, we are back.
I don't want to spend too long on these hacks. What?
Time out. It's a live show. Everybody needs to know. Live show Monday to Friday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern, on all the different streaming places, including Spotify and soon to be Apple Podcasts. Like, share, subscribe.
Wait, is that why you got an on-air light? Is because it's live?
Yeah. It doesn't look near as cool. It doesn't look near as cool in the video as it looks in real life, though. It's like for some reason the camera is picking it, blurring it.
Yeah,
and you can't adjust it.
That's what we'll spend our one-on-one time doing this week. Okay.
Kind of a buzzkill, but I was super excited about it, so I got it all installed. Yes, got it all installed. But anyways, another thing that people on Twitter Spaces can't see, but I got this little neon on-air sign.
Yeah, y'all on Twitter Spaces should just watch us on the actual video.
No, man. Twitter Spaces is all the rage. Anyways, okay, so we got a ton of shit to talk about. Where do you want to start? Let's start with this hack.
Okay, let's start with these hacks. So there were 2 hacks over the weekend. I honestly don't want to spend a huge amount of time on them. I didn't think that anything about them were particularly unique. But one is with Conic Finance. Have you used Conic Finance? I have not.
I have not.
Okay, well, they lost 3.2 million worth of ETH in a re-entrancy hack. So basically, if you were using Conic Finance, your money might be gone. There's not a lot else to really say about that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about this a lot. Hacks are a thing that are going to continue until we have a greater standard of KYC, greater standard of transparency. I know this isn't what everybody always wants to hear, that KYC is the answer. But as soon as wallets are more meaningfully attached to people, it's a lot less likely for people to get away with this kind of thing, because you have to if you have to KYC to use a protocol,
for sure.
Obviously your wallet is connected to said KYC. So if you then exploit the protocol,
also it can't be that hard. Like, I know that we sort of have this discussion about blockchain being anonymous, but in reality, because it's all open, you could probably actually track things and figure it out, unless somebody's using it.
You can. Absolutely. I've mentioned this quite a bit actually on here, like Chainalysis and what TRM and Elliptic and all these other groups can do is pretty insane. Like, if your biggest clients are the DOJ and the CIA and the FBI and the IRS.
Chainalysis actually, in this article that we'll post on Twitter, Chainalysis actually says that last year was the biggest year ever for hacking in the crypto space. And I find this just a little bit of a misnomer of quote, because as the space continues to grow, we will continue to have more and more hacks and more money in the space, which can be stolen. And so year after year, we will likely be able to say last year was the biggest year for hacking.
Hopefully not. Honestly, I think we're getting pretty close to I think we're getting pretty close to an inflection point. Once we have regulation in the US, I think that's going to be the tail that wags the global dog. And many jurisdictions are going to follow suit to a certain extent with respect.
I don't know. You don't think like Micah is wagging SEC right now?
No, I don't think the SEC is too arrogant. I think they don't give a shit what Europe's doing. But Micah is still going to require a lot of KYC. So, I mean, it's not like all of these other regulations are going to be that different. And KYC, in my opinion, stops most of this. There still will be hacks. There still will be sophisticated groups finding unique ways to do it anonymously, but it's orders of magnitude more difficult to get away with once we have KYC, even though it's already not that easy to get away with, in my opinion. Again, net, usually the attackers can siphon off maybe 10% after they've washed the money, so to speak, if they know what they're doing and didn't get caught in the first place. So for these guys...
I have to say that this one with Conic is actually like kind of good news, because most user assets aren't actually that impacted. So this is a pooling organization. And so they have they fixed their contract so that this can't happen again. And they've disabled their ETH pools for now, but it says that user assets can still be withdrawn. So probably user assets aren't making money on ETH, but you didn't lose your ETH, you just lost your pools.
Right. Yeah. We'll have to see what happens here. But I mean, if you look at this as an example, 3.2 million was siphoned off at current prices. By the time they fence it and get that cleaned, it's less than 300 grand probably. And $300,000 to be essentially a fugitive for the next few decades from individuals wanting their money back and or law enforcement. Probably not worth it. Just go get it.
It's like we talked about this on Friday, but then there was more news about it over the weekend. Did you see the Ontario Crypto King news?
I've heard versions of it.
Well, so on Friday they had caught one of the kidnappers. So at that time we thought that maybe it was alleged kidnapping, but it was real kidnapping. Yeah. They caught one of the kidnappers. That kidnapper was actually on the case. So that was like a really big deal. But they have now caught the other 4 kidnappers, and they're all going to trial. And so there is...
I did not hear that. So
yeah,
that's the news that I missed. Yeah, on Friday. Friday?
So Friday they had the one, and then this weekend they caught the other.
Oh, they got the rest. Okay, cool. Yeah,
which is probably a plea deal or something, right?
Does that mean they found the guy then?
Oh yeah, they found him ages ago, and that's why people thought that it was a fake kidnapping.
Because he just showed up, and they were like,
yeah,
Yeah, I
I
bet
was
you're
like, why did you beat yourself up? But then he didn't. And that's, I mean, terrible and great all at once. Okay, so we had Conic with 3.2 million, but then we have AlphaPo, and they lost 31 million this weekend. And this is a little bit controversial. I tried looking into it more, and there's not a lot being reported, but basically their hot wallets were impacted. So ETH, Tron, and Bitcoin. But people aren't sure if this is like an inside job or not, because they are kind of a sketchy company anyway. They do a lot of stuff with crypto gambling. They tie themselves to like some real life gambling as well. And so I don't know, kind of a weird news article to report on when I don't have anything nice to say, but it did happen. So
yeah, this is a lot of money. It's unfortunate when this stuff happens because often the speculation goes crazy about, well, was it, did the protocol do this themselves? Like how can you run a protocol and allow somebody to get access to your private keys and your hot wallets and so on? And the flip side of that is it happens to very experienced people often. So it's tough because it's really hard to figure out truth from fiction in these types of things. 31 million sucks. Having their hot wallets drained, I mean, that sucks also. I don't know. This whole thing is just, it does stink a little bit. But no matter what, users of AlphaPo, obviously,
it sucks for them.
That's a lot of resources. And AlphaPo, I don't believe, has cash on hand to even come close to making it whole. So, unfortunately, got to be careful. Got to be careful what protocols we use.
Okay, so that's scams. That's scams that we like to call scams. Now we can talk about scams that are the government scamming you. Actually, some good news out of Arkansas. So there's some new legislation that actually protects crypto mining in Arkansas. This is interesting, in my opinion, because there are quite a few other states that have done quite the opposite. So in New York, they passed a temporary ban on crypto mining because of fossil fuel emissions in 2022. And then we reported, I believe in April, that Texas was looking at reducing or putting regulations and increasing taxes on crypto mining. And that had more to do with like, I remember the Sierra Club was part of that lobbying group because of the nature. I don't know. Arkansas has done the opposite thing. So their new law protects miners from discriminatory regulations and taxes and restricts local governments from prohibiting or discriminating against crypto mining operations.
Right. I like this. I mean, I'm a big Sarah Huckabee Sanders fan, who's the governor of Arkansas. So I think this is just great all around. And I also appreciate her as the governor. But all of that being said, I think Texas, there was a lot of excitement around Texas because Texas had open arms when China was kicking all the miners out, and they picked up a lot of business. A lot of companies from China and other places globally were like, okay, forget this. We don't want to deal with this uncertainty of these governments. Let's go to the US. And what they got in the US was uncertainty and flip-flopping and all of this, climate crisis crap, even in Texas. So it's good to see that this is happening. I've always said, market forces will generally look after this stuff. If it becomes too expensive or they're using too much fossil fuels, it's not going to be profitable. There's a lot of renewables now. More than 50% of Bitcoin mining is facilitated via renewables. So, I mean, it kind of makes sense to take a renewed look at this, and I think that's what they're doing. So it's good. I'm a big fan.
It's interesting. So I didn't look too deeply into this, but the article that we post says that no one spoke against this bill in committees or on legislative floors. But then it also says that local authorities and like justice of the peace and stuff in a variety of counties said that there were these huge noise complaints and that it was a really big deal. And so to your point earlier, I wonder what this was piggybacked on, because I doubt that it was just this one thing alone.
Just the single bill. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of surprising actually that there's still so much reluctance and there's still so much punitive activity around crypto and so on. Like, it's not going anywhere, guys. So let's figure out how to make the best of it instead of
shutting it down.
You just stop doing what you're doing because we don't like it.
Okay, well, the next one here is about CBDCs, sort of. So the Federal
San
Reserve has been
Francisco.
hiring a crypto architect. The position has actually been up for quite some time, and obviously they have lots of applicants. People are hypothesizing that this is likely to work on a CBDC. Now, the Federal Reserve is saying, no, that's not what it's for, but they're obviously building up a strong crypto dev team. So if the Federal Reserve is building some crypto that isn't a CBDC, I'd love to know what they're calling it to trick you. But that's what's going on here. I don't know if they're going to get super top talent because although the salary is good, it's not great. So they're paying 134.
They're not going to get.
Yeah, I'm
like
maybe someone who like really needed a career change and really wanted to work like a 9-to-5 and didn't like their startup culture life. I mean, like that's possible that someone's going to apply for this, but I don't think you're going to get the best of the best.
I completely agree with you. I think you have to assess the situation where it actually is, not where you hope it to be. And whether we love it or not, experienced crypto architects, someone that actually knows what they're doing and isn't just copying code from somewhere else,
exactly,
is not working for $134,000 a year.
Maybe this is a union position and that's the band.
Well, some of the advantages, like there's probably, I'm not sure if the Fed gets government pensions and so on. Because they're supposed to be.
It could be a good fit for the right person, but just like you're not going to get the best. And if you're not getting the best, I wonder how that opens us up to hacks and that kind of stuff, which then like, maybe people can hack a CBDC and that's hilarious in its own way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm slightly biased.
What?
Of course. Yeah. Who knew? But that being said, I think so take this with a grain of salt, what I'm about to say, but whoever takes this position, it's effectively crypto career suicide. I mean, good luck getting a job at a crypto company after you've developed a CBDC that is the antithesis of what we're trying to accomplish, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, good point. There's a lot of people don't believe in the DeFi ethos anymore. Like I've noticed this more and more as we have guests on and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So maybe like long term it could be good for your career, but you're definitely not going to get another blockchain job.
Yeah, you're probably right. Actually,
work for Ripple.
I don't supremely disagree with you. I think there is a shift in sentiment, and it's not that people don't like DeFi. I think people just have realized, rightly so, in my opinion, that whether we like DeFi or not, its current form is not going to continue in regulation. And crypto in its current form is not going to be not regulated. So now I think the focus should be, how do we embrace what is coming? Whether we like it or not, it's happening. So let's just figure that out. And yeah, maybe these guys will have an experience set that actually works in the future. So you're probably I don't
know. And again, they can work for Ripple and then go build the CBDC.
I'm just trying to discourage anybody from applying. Come on.
Yeah, terrible benefits. And also horrible. You won't work all night and that sucks too. Okay, so we have talked about the Federal Reserve and CBDCs, and there's a lot of controversy about fiat versus crypto and how that might impact illegal activities. And that's part of why we might want a CBDC. And so it's just important to note that criminals in the Web3 space are no longer using Bitcoin. Instead, they're money laundering using stablecoins.
Yeah. So I've got a few thoughts on this one. I've said this a million times.
I have no thoughts on this.
I've said this a lot of times. I mean, is crypto being used for illicit activity? Yes. Is fiat being used for illegal activity? Yes.
What?
Are other assets used for illegal activity? Absolutely. I know, who knew? But the key is proportions, right? Is there a greater proportion of crypto that is being used for illicit activity than fiat? And the answer currently is no, it's not. It's actually,
I don't even know if proportions matter, because like what, you take away crypto and you think that crime just stops?
Well, no, it doesn't. But
like I'm just going to use something else. Like it doesn't matter.
But it's a good example, or it's a good indicator of whether it's making their life easier or harder based on what the results are before and after implementing.
Fine.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, the reason that I find this somewhat interesting is most stable coins, USDT, USDC, are very, very known to for assets if it's identified that they're being used for illicit activities. obviously. And so I think, if they are using stable coins, which is what this article, part of it said, is that, there's a lot of USDT and USDC, especially for this ISIS thing in Tajikistan.
Well, that's next.
And all of
Hold
these other
on.
places. Oh, what?
It wasn't the same article.
Yeah. Oh no, it's a different article. Okay.
Different article, but this is important to know too, is that ISIS is now being accused of using USDT. TRM Labs ran a number of analyses and reports and have found about $500,000 in USD being used.
Yeah. So USDC. No. USDC is a lot more proactive with blocking transactions. USDT will also do it, but it's a lot less willing and eager currently. I mean, that's probably subject to change once they are regulated also. But yeah, I mean, does this suck that it's helping finance ISIS? Of course. Like, that's not awesome. We don't want to encourage that, obviously. But I don't think that it's crypto that's causing that. I think in the absence of crypto, ISIS is still going to find a different way to raise funds illicitly and to facilitate their activities, because they're terrorists and they're not rational and objective like the rest of us. So
yes, I find you very objective.
I know. It's crazy. One of my biggest attributes.
I have to say that I misspoke. So it wasn't just $500,000. There were a number of different wallets and addresses that totaled probably over $3 million. One address in particular got over $2 million in their fundraising campaign. And I don't want to start a fight. So obviously I am not pro-ISIS, and obviously JD is not pro-ISIS, as he just said. However, this does give people the ability to give money to a cause that they believe in. So whether you believe that Ukraine or Russia is in the right in their war, or whether you believed in the freedom truckers or not, or whether you believe in ISIS or not, you now have the freedom to give them money in ways that we didn't previously have that ability. And this does forego any of the sanctions that you might be experiencing, because a lot of this money was found to be coming from different countries that have different opinions about what ISIS might be doing. And so on the one hand, like, it's not like I'm super thrilled that we're sending millions of dollars to ISIS via crypto, but on the other hand, it is a really good use case of not facing government regulation with your funds.
That's right. I got nothing else to say about that one, because I think, I mean, obviously it sucks that any illicit activity happens globally,
sure.
But it's not necessarily the fault of the intermediary, which is currently crypto. So
I agree. Okay, I do want to wrap up with NASDAQ. Can you talk about NASDAQ?
Yeah, this was surprising. I'm not sure I really understand. I think I don't really understand why.
I think the conjecture is that they won't be needed if other big TradFi agents are coming into the space.
Yeah. But I don't necessarily agree with that. I think, like, custody is not there's a couple of people that provide custody. No one else needs to. Custody is going to be pervasive throughout regulation, I think. And so I'm surprised by this.
We didn't actually say what's going on. NASDAQ had planned a number of crypto services, and they have dropped their plans for the crypto custody service, but there's no news of them increasing elsewhere or decreasing their other crypto services. So that's the gist.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're talking about, in the article anyways, it talks about that maybe the greater regulatory scrutiny and so on. I mean, NASDAQ is a regulated exchange. Like, why are they're not worried about regulation? So there's probably more to this, in my opinion. The regulation for crypto custody, although it's a pain in the butt, is not completely different than what they're used to for a lot of their other registrations and licensing and compliance. So this is a little bit weird to me.
There's some discussion, like on crypto Twitter, that they don't want to be lumped in with like Ripple, but also that seems wildly unlikely. So
I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I don't understand why they think that XRP is going to be a problem, or why being related to XRP. Like, I don't even understand how that connection is going to be made. I mean, there's a custody rule that the SEC has proposed, which nobody really knows if that's actually going to matter. pretty soon because it all depends on legislation.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to see. I mean, I was excited about NASDAQ entering the space because it's a big brand. You know, a lot of people, tech in particular, you know, there's a lot of acceptance and familiarity with NASDAQ. So it would have been great in terms of trust, public sentiment. So this kind of sucks. I'm not really sure why. I'm sure we'll find out in a minute why that is. Maybe they tried to get contracts from BlackRock and others for custody, and they all seem to have gone with Coinbase. So maybe that's why. All speculation on this one, though. Really no idea what the hell is going on.
Could also just be internal business pivot. Maybe their top dev moved over to San Francisco.
The Fed in San Francisco. That's probably it. All right.
Okay.
That's it for the weekend roundup. Oh, we're all done. And we'll be back here tomorrow. Same time, same place. What are we talking about tomorrow? Do we have any ideas?
No, Tuesdays are free for all day.
Oh, free for all. Okay. So we'll probably be talking about this
whatever
bill and a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, have a great rest of your day, everybody. Thanks for joining. Kiara, go find yourself.
Go find yourself.